Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the La Nina pattern potentially that will be taking hold into the winter. They issued a La Nina advisory as of July 8th, so just 2 days ago. Definitely a interesting situation going on, and I think that this La Nina, based on its historical past trends, it could mean another crazy winter is on its way. If you recall, last winter was a La Nina. However, it does not mean that it will be like last winter. I will show you in just a bit why La Ninas are so crazy, because almost every single La Nina differs in some sort of way, either precip or temperatures. Some can bring heat, others can bring really cold, like last year. Okay, before we do, if you guys are new to this channel, hello, welcome. Consider checking it out. If you like it, consider subscribing. And if you're a returning viewer, liking the video is awesome. And whoever you are, if you want to leave a comment, a concern, whatever down below in the comment box, then feel free to do so. I'll probably answer it. I think I answered almost all comments. All right, let's get into this. So I had this pulled up in the back screen of when my webcam was on just a few seconds ago. And notice, in case you didn't see it, look at that. Enzo alert system status. La Nina watch. It came kind of out of nowhere. I mean, it was either going to be in neutral or a La Nina, but I'm surprised that their confidence is so high that they issued a La Nina watch in July. It's really, I mean, you saw based on the models that I was showing you, it was kind of favoring a La Nina, and I was thinking that if there is going to be a La Nina, it's going to take a bit while to develop, right? Maybe towards late fall, and then that's when they'll issue a La Nina watch. But it's pretty early, honestly, earlier than I thought. And you can see right there, Enzo neutral is favored. So right now we are in a neutral. And this is through, it's favored through the summer and into the fall, with a 51% chance for August through October. Again, if a La Nina were to develop, it can during this time frame. It's about a 50-50. That would be pretty bad for hurricane season. La Ninas usually mean bigger, better storms, and that's the peak of it. With La Nina potentially emerging with higher confidence during the September-November season and lasting through the 2021-2022 winter, 66% chance, which is pretty high, honestly, this far out. So let's take a look at the slideshow presentation. I do want to say this one has not been updated as of recently. The last time it was updated was 5th of July, 2021. And if we were to take a look at this, notice that their alert system on here says not active, but this is up to date, and you saw July 8th they issued a La Nina advisory. So this is still a bit behind, but I do want to show you the kind of the Enzo region. This is where the La Nina, if it were to develop, would form right there in the eastern kind of Pacific. And notice right there it's near the equator. So this is where if it's below average, it's a La Nina. If it's those bright orange colors, which it hasn't been in a while, that's an El Nino. And if it's kind of in between, which it is right now, between that tick right there and that one, it's a neutral. And anything negative, it's a La Nina. Anything positive is a El Nino. Now let's go further down, and I want to show you the weather models, individual weather models, and the bar graphs. So these bar graphs are actually, this is the history, by the way. Notice we were in a La Nina all the way up until May, but then into June we went into a neutral. Now we could potentially go back into a La Nina. So definitely a I would say interesting year potentially. And notice that this is what their graph was as of June 10th. So this was a while ago. And this is, again, why my confidence wasn't too high. Notice it was kind of bickering with the neutral. They were favoring a La Nina, but it was a 50-50. Either one of them could have gone up. You know, the neutral could have stayed a bit more neutral and dominated, or the La Nina could have come out. And based on their observations and what's going on, they're going with the La Nina. Now, these are the models which are updated a bit more frequently than these bar graphs. Notice these, some of them are still favoring a neutral, but a lot of them are starting to show a La Nina. And the more accurate set of models based on what I've been looking at in the years past is this one right here, the CFS V2 forecast, and it's updated pretty frequently. Notice this was updated the 5th of July, one day after Independence Day, which wasn't that long ago itself. Notice this is where we are right now. At pretty much zero, so as neutral as it can get. And this was the history. Notice we peaked at around November at a negative 1.2 to 3 in La Nina, which is a rather strong one. And look at the models show. This is where the criteria for La Nina starts. Look at that. Only a few of them are showing a neutral, not a single one an El Nino, and a vast majority are showing a La Nina, especially towards December, November, February, January, and it starts escalating, a bit up towards as we get towards the end of winter, but that's again very, very far out. But La Nina is favored. Now you may be wondering, okay, so what's all this jibber jabber with this La Nina, El Nino? What are the differences between them, and how does this impact? Well, this is what a La Nina pattern usually means for the United States. Let's pull up a better graphic right there. Notice it's cooler and wet across the northwest. That would be good. They would need that. Notice cold air centered across southwestern Canada and the northwest and into the northern U.S. Further south, it's drier, warmer, and wet and warm towards where the jet streams converge, the north and the south. But again, if you recall, last year was a La Nina, and a lot of people across the south in Texas, Louisiana, may be wondering, how is that a warm and dry winter? Some locations there had record amounts of snow. If you recall, the huge blast of cold air that occurred into February across Texas, I think that was February, right? Late January into February. Yeah, that wasn't really typical for a La Nina. So again, each La Nina is different. And now I want to show you the slideshow presentation that I kind of put together for these La Ninas. And these are basically different La Nina years dating back all the way to the year 2000. And I want to show you the differences each one of them had. So let's go back all the way to the beginning. So this was last year. Notice, it was below average really just across the south, and above average just across the Minnesota, North Dakota, and really everywhere else. It was rather normal, and again, I would argue a bit more cooler. But definitely towards the south, it was a cooler winter. Now, if we were to take a look at the previous La Nina prior to 2021, out of this past year, it was 2017 to 2018 winter. Notice, it was different. While it was cool across Texas, notice, it was also cool towards the north, North Dakota, the plains, into southern Canada. Very, very, very chilly winter, that one was. Look at the southwest. It was, that time around, it was very hot across the west and the east. It really wasn't that bad. It was a bit of warmth, a bit of cool. Again, maybe a bit warmer than cooler. Now, each of these years had something extreme with them. If you recall, the 2018 La Nina, it brought a ton of nor'easters for the Northeast. I think it was, a series of many. I mean, how many was it exactly? I think 3 or 4 within a span of 2 or 3 weeks in March. It was just insane. And yeah, there was many other extreme events that occurred that I could probably look into, but that's always the one I use, as it's the one that kind of stands out the most. Now, this was the previous La Nina, so just a year prior to this La Nina was another La Nina, 2016 to 2017. Look how different that was. The cold air was kind of really just minimized to the northwestern United States, southwestern Canada. Everywhere else, rather warm. I remember for my area, the extreme weather that occurred with the La Nina was the tornadoes. I mean, there was tornadoes in February across Illinois into southern Wisconsin and Iowa. It was again one of those La Ninas that did bring brought extremes, and that fits the title of this video. It just wasn't a snowy extreme. It was a extremely snow-free, warm, and more of a severe weather type event, the La Nina. Now, this was the 2012 La Nina, 2011, 2012. Very similar to the 2017 one. There was a giant heat wave that occurred in March, if you recall, of that year. I mean, here in my location, speaking from what I remember, it was, I think, a string of 8 days that were 80 plus in early March. That is unthinkable. Truly. And then the summer turned out to be one of the hottest ones. It was a massive drought that developed. And again, a La Nina that's, completely differed from even the La Nina that occurred, this year or in 2018, or the one prior to this 2012 one, which occurred right there a year prior. 2010, 2011, that was definitely a winter of many extremes, many Arctic outbreaks in February, the Groundhog Day blizzard. There hasn't been a blizzard that's really matched the intensity and severity of it across at least the central United States. There has been Winter Storm Linus in 2015, but I would argue that the Groundhog Day blizzard was more fierce. Across the East Coast, there were definitely bigger blizzards, but the Groundhog Day blizzard didn't really make its name as big across the Northeast as it did across the central U.S. I mean, Oklahoma City, I think, got 11 inches from that snowstorm. And again, it was a cold, snowy winter, and that was a La Nina. Now, there are more La Ninas. Look at this one, 2008, 2009, a very, very cold one, and a very, very snowy one. If you recall, the northern United States saw many locations saw heavy amounts of snow, large snowstorms, and then look across the south is rather warm and not so much of a cold winter. Now, these are temperatures. This isn't snow, where the snow is heavy. I would have to search up or do another graphic, but with precipitation. But in order to do that, I'd have to show you like 20 different images, and I could do that for sure, just maybe in another video. Notice Florida was also chillier, but notice the north, where it was cold, it was centered towards the west. And all these years, even in the warmer years, where it was cold, it was probably, you can see warm. The coolest was towards the south and west, or it was flipped around. You can see like this, or like that, where it's this warmest across the southwest and cooler towards the north. So really, it's just super variable. And this, I just showed you that one. Look at this one, the year prior to that. A very, very kind of similar pattern to what we saw this year. Not as cold across Texas, but notice the northwest, the northern United States, and below average temperatures. Again, one of those years that was kind of in between. For this one, actually, there was, in my area, I know the extreme that the National Weather Service was pointing it out last year, actually, with the La Nina extreme trend, and they were saying that there was a record amount of precip in general. Just the amount of rain and snow that fell during that winter was truly astounding. I don't think it was the snowiest winter. It definitely was above average, but a lot of the precip fell as rain, but there was enough times where it did fall as snow, and it caused, quite a bit of an interesting winter. And I'm sure there were other extremes here that people probably could remember, or I could search up. Now, let's go back a few more years. Let's go here. 2005, 2006, notice it was pretty much all around warm winter. Now, I don't recall exactly what the extremes were with this one. I'm assuming there was something notable about this. I don't know, because sometimes you could have a warm winter and a very snowy winter, but notice it just shows you how different they are, even from just, a couple of years apart. And then this was the one from 2000 to 2001. Look at that. A very all-around, pretty much cold winter, complete opposite of this La Nina. And again, it was a La Nina. And notice, there were probably definitely some notable events about this as well. Obviously, the cold probably being one. And then the year prior to that, 2000 to 2000, or 1999 to 2000, look at that. Look how warm it was. I mean, just complete opposites. One year it seems to be warm, the other year cool, but there isn't an actual trend that we could follow. It would be nice if it was a certain pattern that, every 2 winters that are La Nina is a very snowy one, and every other one is a very warm one, or something like that. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You could have like 4 or 5 winters that are super snowy that are all La Ninas throughout like 1 or 2 decades, and then followed by another 4 or 5 that are all warm. Or you could have them kind of intermixed, which is what we've been having. And again, this just goes to show you that the ENSO and these La Nina forecasts, right? The La Nina does play a role in the winter forecast, but it's not the decisive factor. Unfortunately, as you can see, these were all La Ninas, but they brought many various different things to the U.S. The only thing that is a trend, whatever it brings, usually comes in a rather dramatic way. And the reason behind that, there's many things you could explain that to. Potentially a stronger jet stream. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, it's colder air, the positioning of it, and other factors. Just, I think, again, I stand by the claim that another winter of extremes is on its way. Whether it's going to be something, cold like this, or a bitter cold like this one, or a very warm one, it's tough to tell. Right now, based on a summer pattern and other research I was doing, which I'll make a video on that, I would say, probably I'm leaning towards maybe a cooler one rather than a warmer one, but there's no signs of a winter that's, all out, just bitter cold like this one was. More of a probably mixed maybe like this one. But again, it's a bit tough to say at this point. Alright, that's basically it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you kind of understood what I was trying to show you here. But yeah, La Nina advisory, so a neutral is still possible, but lessening chances. And again, this was last year, and you can see on the graph it doesn't look that extreme, but we all remember how it was across Texas, Oklahoma, the South, all those snowstorms that passed through, all that cold air. Definitely just maps don't do justice to it, but it shows you how variable these can be. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya. Bye.